Well, when he first started out with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels,
Hmm.
uh, I come from the area where that place is supposed to be set. That's my original culture, and I was quite surprised not to be included in that film for some reason. I don't think he knew I existed. And then the first film I did with him was Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, and we did two of those, and then it kind of just carried on from there, really.
They train us to run their errands, kill their enemies, and kill each other. It's easy to kill, but it's much harder to survive. Need to get back home. Home's a memory.
Eddie, how are you?
I'm good, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing well. I like that you have that workout thing in the background there. You doing a little workouts between
No,
your
I just moved it. I just pulled it in. I actually don't do anything. I just put it in. Look like I'm really disciplined, but I'm not.
Hey, it shows. I've seen you in enough films. I know you got it when you need it. You know, you can kick some ass. I mean, I've been a fan of your work for so long. I think I've seen you almost do every role. I don't think there's a role you haven't done, from doctors to professors to badasses to everything.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, it's just I think it's the way that I make a living, really. I try to keep people guessing. I don't want anyone to get a fixed idea of me.
I know. Did you ever envision yourself when you got into acting, you'd be sort of this chameleon actor, being able to, I mean, that's really fortunate for an actor to be able to not be typecast at all. You're anti-typecast, to just do every sort of different role and genre. You've really managed, unlike anyone else, to just do all sorts of various, polar opposite roles in so many different films.
Well, I think it became very obvious very early on. When I was at acting college, they didn't know what to do with me, basically.
Hmm.
And I was so unusual looking in my 20s that when other young guys were kind of playing romantic leads, I was the mugger and I was the thief, and I was always the other. I've always been the other. I've never been the protagonist. If a film is like a ghost train ride and the protagonist is the car that the audience sit in and they go on that ride with them, I've always played the guy who goes boo,
Hmm.
always. And I knew that from a very early on. So what I needed to do was make sure that I could be as diverse as possible within that function. If I could be as diverse as possible, and then I would work more.
You certainly have. It worked out really well for you. So
Yeah, yeah,
there it goes. Eh, this movie was great because, like, you came, you went out with the stake. You know what I mean? It's like I was
yeah,
waiting for you this whole movie. I'm like, is he in it? When are you coming? Then you come for a pretty vital part in it, and then
yeah.
you go out pretty quick too. I love that. When you saw that in the script and the stuff, did that kind of appeal to you, that you were like, come in, do your thing, and kind of pop out? I thought it was a really cool role, and a pretty significant one too. But one that maybe not isn't necessarily an entire movie.
Yeah, Tarek sent me the script and then sent me the scene separately and
Hmm.
said, "This is a real big action movie, but we want this one moment where the audience take a breath and sit with the humanity of a character, and I want you to be that character." And because we'd worked within Ray Donovan before, and on Ray Donovan, the character of Terry Donovan was very alpha male and uh, very kick-ass in many ways.
Mhm.
What Tarek always wanted me to do was to emphasize the compassion and the humanity of Terry Donovan. So I knew that when he wanted me to do this with this character in a very alpha male movie, I knew what function he wanted me to do, and I was interested in doing it.
Interesting. Well, I thought it was perfect. It just fits you
Yeah,
really well. Was that your first time working with Chris Pine? I know you work with many actors and directors. Was this the first time you worked together?
yeah, the first time, and I've always been a big fan of his. I think he's a great actor. I think he has he's able to go between big movies like Star Wars and Wonder Woman and do this kind of thing.
Hmm.
Because I think his father was an actor, and I think when you get to talk to him, he's such a fascinating man to be around. He's so cultured, much more cultured than I am. He's been, he what he reads and his interests philosophically and politically and artistically are so broad. And that I think the problem with him is just too good looking, because he's so good looking that he kind of gets limited to that. Well, actually, I think there's much more to him than that.
Interesting. Wow, you guys got to connect pretty well then, in filming one
Yeah.
scene pretty much, but you guys got to kind of hang out and talk, it seems like.
Yeah, well, it was a very intimate scene. It was
Yeah.
a it was a beautifully written scene.
Mhm.
And I think Chris was also grateful of a rest, to just sit there and act with someone rather than just be blown off bridges or riding motorbikes all over the
Running
place,
constantly from
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
shooting at him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you? I'm curious. That meal looked actually pretty good. Did you guys actually eat it, or was this just a
Yeah,
prop?
we did. No, we did. We did. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty
Oh,
nice.
that's so cool. I love that. I love when you actually get to taste the food that's in front of you on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
film. You
yeah,
didn't cook
yeah.
that steak though, right?
No, no, I didn't cook that steak. They have somebody with about 6 steaks lined up for us to do a load of different takes. It was great fun.
That is cool. I love that. I love that little nuances to it. I mentioned like your career and following it. How did you become a Guy Ritchie guy in a sense? You've done so many films with him. I'm wondering if there's a point that you connected with him, that he just invites you and writes these roles for you in a sense. It's just been really fun. Always, whenever I see this movie, I expect you in it.
Well, when he first started out with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels,
Mhm.
uh, I come from the area where that place is supposed to be set. That's my original culture, and I was quite surprised not to be included in that film for some reason. I don't think he knew I existed. And then the first film I did with him was Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, and we did two of those, and then it kind of just carried on from there, really. I think uh, there's no big. I think there's no illusion with me and Guy. What he does is he gets me in. He knows I can do a job. He doesn't have to worry about it. It's kind of like a member of the crew. Eddie, can you take care of that? You do that one, and because I've got a load of other big explosions to deal with, can you sort that out for me? And I do it. I enjoy it. It's always in the UK. I'm always working with him. We have a kind of shorthand, and I just get on with it. But
I
there's
love it.
but I have that relationship with quite a few directors. David Leitch is another that I have that with. Um, Quite a few where they I'm a utility actor in many ways, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense or
Yeah.
a fake humble sense. I'm very proud of it. I'm good at what I do, so they get me in to do it, and they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Which is good. That's how you've maintained your career for so long.
Yeah,
Knowing who you are and what you are is really important, and to be
yeah,
reliable in a sense. If you're reliable, people will trust you and peg you in
yeah.
there. So you've done that great. As I let you go here, I'm a big Ray Donovan fan. I mean, who isn't? It's over finally after all this time. And just recently, you guys had the film version of it, which was very cool too. Were you ready for it to end? Are you kind of now satisfied that it's all behind you, or you miss it? I'm just kind of curious your take after you put in so much time and so many years into something.
Well, I don't know if it is ended. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they want to do another 2 hour movie, because they've realized they don't have to do a 12 episode season in order to tell the story. Then they can tell it in 2 hours. So it may not. I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Mhm.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of that we created something very special over 7 seasons, and something that could have been very, very superficial about a Hollywood fixer suddenly became about a group of brothers dealing with trauma and dealing with midlife crisis, and I think all of us, led by Liev, put our hearts and souls into it, and I think it really connected with people. It was a family that people felt that they belonged with. People really loved those characters.
Oh yeah, I'm one of them. Eddie, I've been a
Yeah.
fan for a long time. I think you're just a wonderful actor. I always get
Thank
excited
you,
to see you in
Jim.
a role because it's always something going to be surprising whenever I see it. It's something new, always and fresh. So keep on doing awesome work. I'll be looking out, and awesome scene in the Contractor too. So
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Absolutely. Hope to connect on the next one.
Thank you very much. Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.